So, I like to come out here and think about taking a piss because that gas station right there is closed. So I took the piss right here. You probably thought I was going to say something dramatic. I don't know, Cloverfield kind of moment, like an alien spaceship lands. But I was simply just taking a piss. I'm not going to show that part though. Anyway, so yeah, the wonderful thing about doing rideshare is sometimes you gotta pee. Look at this though, isn't it beautiful? Those lights mean something to me though. Those lights right there. When I was in college, we didn't have GPS because I grew up in college in the mid 90s. And I was, I've probably already told you this story, but I was in a play called The Man Who Came to Dinner. I played banjo. Look at this wonderful locked. Anyway, and I got lost one night and I kept going around those lights right there. Those lights. I kept driving around. I think it was somewhere near Mansfield though. They have another section of those lights. And I was just kind of driving around all night long, and I didn't have a maps go. I didn't have no GPS. I had no GPS. And somehow I found the highway and back to Grand Prairie, and then back to Fort Worth to Texas Wesleyan, because I was coming back from rehearsal. And those lights are kind of like a symbol of, I don't know, like a central beacon or something. But anyway, I just kept going around in a circle, going near those lights and around the light, because I could find the way back to the highway for about 45 minutes, because that's what we did back then. We didn't have GPS. We had to use our instincts. It's about 12:32, coming close to the end of my shift. I had an interesting evening tonight because most of Dallas is blacked out, and they do have internet problems and cellular problems because some cell towers got hit, but it's really not that bad. You just, break out the Mapsco. No, I'm just joking. The Mapscos are out of business. The old maps that you would break out, God, those days. I remember in college, I had met a guy out in Dallas. He was an actor too, and we had gone to a UT together to a theater summer camp. One of the coolest times I had one time is I stayed at his place because he was a Smiths fan, and we were, we were just talking about the Smiths and hanging out, and we were Dallas nights. And we went to this coffee shop, and I remember he bought a newspaper. And this was like the first time I felt kind of like a grown man. And so he bought the newspaper, and he had a pack of cigarettes. I think he smoked filterless. They were like Lucky Strikes. And I had like my Camel cigarettes. And we got coffee. I remember reading the paper, this newspaper. I think I was reading Observer, and he was reading the paper, thinking, man, I must be grown. I'm sitting at a coffee shop. It was a bar, like a coffee bar, with the high stools. And I'm looking at a newspaper. We didn't have smartphones. And I'm reading the paper. I was reading the Observer. And smoking a Camel cigarette. I was like, yeah, I am an adult. I was in my early 20s, right before I ran off to New York to visit Kara. She dated the inventor or the creator of the Blue Man Group. She was actually dating him for a while. He was one of the inventors of the Blue Man Group. And we were hanging around New York, and I'd go back and forth from Texas to New York and just kind of hang out. Anyway, those are the red lights you can kind of see. Those days are over. We have it really easy now. And all the millennials, just instant gratification. They're led by GPS exactly where they go. They usually have someone drive them, like an adult, and they're like 18 or 19, and they talk like Wall Street banking executives. Although the people in Dallas, and I wanted to mention this, especially in the SMU area, if they're young, they talk a little like this. So everything that they say, they kind of talk in this rhythm. I actually recorded some of them. There's like, they talk like this, and so we're going to go out and get a Keurig for our dorm room, And I think we could split the amount. And also, I think that our backyard is really live. It's really, kind of happening. And, they kind of talk like this. And, in that area, everything is kind of almost kind of Californian. And just everybody talks a little. And I'm just like, what in the hell is going on? It's like the GPS voices got into their head. And half of them are talking like a robot, and half of them have a little bit of human kind of way that they talk, and so everything is very clear and just kind of like they talk like over this, and they need to stop it. And everyone says literally. Stop saying literally. And stop talking like this, everything that you say. Oh my God. But that's a whole generation that I do not understand. The millennials, I'm sorry. I'm fine with being Generation X and being completely lost. I'm okay with it. I don't need to be remembered. I'm okay with that. I guess I'm okay with that. But anyway, they just get everything right then at that moment. If they go to a car lot, they don't wait on the loan. It's approved in their app. Everything's just right, just like that. That's not how life is. It's just not that way. Every once in a while, they need to pick up a newspaper and like put down their phone for just a little bit. But that wears off of you. The younger generation has to wear off on you because you're dealing with the younger generation. So you have to think a little bit like them and connect with their generation. But when they're talking like this in your car and you can only I had to get out of the car one time, and this one girl she actually gave me a $20 tip in cash. That's important. But she was talking like about what she was going to do with her friends, and she was just talking. It was like a Saturday Night Live skit, and she just kept talking like that, and it was over. I just had to step out of the car for a minute until everyone got into the car because they were waiting on their friends that were out in their driveway by SMU, and I was just like, I got out of the car and just stood there. I think she knew I was kind of frustrated. Oh man, you would not even understand how much this world has changed. Oh my gosh. The good old days, it was just using a maps code to get around, or we had to print out the directions and read them from paper and write. We used a pen and wrote on, a piece of paper. But we are so spoiled. Oh man, I don't know. I mean, that's okay. It's okay. It's something new. Communication. Oh yeah, and I picked up a pimp today. It's impossible to bust a prostitute. I picked up this pimp and his 2 prostitutes and dropped them off somewhere. And the thing is they just probably use the Cash App. They don't take cash, so they can't get hit with a sting. And they just probably bounce from extended stay to extended stay. And they never get caught. And they use either Lyft. Mostly I thought they used Lyft, but and they just kind of jump around to different spots. I run across them all the time, but they're really professional and quiet and nice people. They seemed like they were pretty much not really on drugs. Of course, I don't really want to be, like I wouldn't do any of that stuff. I mean, I have to give people a ride. I can't turn them down, even if they're pimps and prostitutes or whatever, But they were all really quiet, and I knew exactly what was going on, and I told them, hey, it's been real, and that's fine. I mean, it's just there's just no way they're going to get busted. Because they're just going to take their ride share to one extended stay, do their job. They probably don't take cash. It's probably prepaid on a Cash App. They can't. The law can't really bust into their Cash App. Really, I don't think. Not without a warrant. It'd be very difficult to sting if they're jumping from extended stay to extended stay to do that. They're like using the web to communicate. There's a lot of illegal activities going on like that, and they use transportation, and it's just. I mean, I think prostitution is probably going to be legalized in the next 10, 20 years. Same thing with marijuana. I just think it'll probably be legalized. I'm not really for that, per se, but I see it happening because it's already happened in Colorado. It's already happened in California, Alaska and Maine. And, other things things that we see as illegal that's been here since the beginning of time are probably going to be legal. And just because I am an actor does not mean I'm a prostitute. There's a difference between an actor and a prostitute. There's a big difference. Actors do it for a willing audience that are... the actors perform a play or a story for an audience that is willing, and it's a prepared work, or improv. At least the theme is prepared. But they're different. We're entertainers. We're show business people. We're not prostitutes. Even though... sometimes we may prostitute an idea, but we we're not doing it for that type of we're not doing it for that type of pleasure. We're doing it for the pleasure. It's more of a spiritual thing and entertainment and literal, for for literature and for telling a story. That's what we do as actors. We tell stories, and that's our hook. That's our thing. It's a story. It's not really. It's a physical thing. It is physical because you're physically on stage or you're physically somewhere where the story is happening. But don't ever think when you see an actor, don't think immediately prostitute, because that's not what they are at all. And that's just something that kind of makes me mad a little bit. But I don't know, man. There's a lot of illegal stuff that goes on and everything, but that kind of stuff, it seems like they know what they're doing, and I don't know for sure if they were. They could have just been friends that were just going to an extended stay that just kind of looked like they've been maybe doing a little bit of meth or something. I have no idea. I mean, I could just be judgmental. They could have been just avoiding the blackout, the electricity problem. But that was just some of the things that I went through today. So this is kind of like a diary and memoirs and ideas and monologues and things that I'm talking about as I go through my workday. So anyway, it's 12:41. Pretty much almost finished and wrapped it up, and I'm leaving DeSoto right now, headed back towards the Dallas area. So good night and good luck.